All right, welcome to Down Under Football Crew, ladies and gentlemen. It's a different setup today, as you guys can see. There's a female in the block, and finally, this channel has been able to get some sort of female presence. I've been wanting it badly to have that female presence in this particular channel, and the boys have done a madness here. A long time ago, we had Rose, who's an Everton supporter. That was a very, very good show with Rose, and it's been difficult to find the women out there that have such good takes or knowledgeable takes on football. And finally, we've got ourselves Kat. We'll start with Kat, then we'll talk to the boys. Kat, how you doing?
Hi, I'm really well. I'm excited to be talking. I mean, what else would you want to be doing on a Monday night, right? Just talking about football. It's awesome. And yeah, thank you for having me. Any opportunity to talk about it, to learn more about it. I'm just a football enthusiast. I'm a sponge when it comes to these discussions, and looking forward to getting all of your opinions and everything on the world of football at the moment. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, Kat's a Liverpool fan. Her socials are in the description. I think it's called, your main thing is the podcast, Kat. It's called Kicking Off with Kat. I think that you've got it in your...
Well, it's Football Chat with May and Kat is kind of the existing podcast at the moment. So that's where I do a lot of different interviews with my friend May. She's based in London. And we just talk to loads of people who work and play the game. And then Kicking Off with Kat is kind of my blog and everything like that. And I'm representing it at the moment. It's a bit cold for Jersey.
Look at that.
We need to get some merch. We need to get some merch, Kat.
She's making
we need to be sponsored by her.
Shout outs to Zabara. He makes all of my merch.
Wow, nice.
I'll pass on the info later.
Brilliant. I can already see AR Hive here, which is Antonio Rudiger Hive, but he's a massive Jorginho fan. Must have enjoyed that thumbnail. That's why he's jumped on. I haven't seen you for a long time, AR Hive. You're always there every time we do want to talk about Jorginho, but today it's not just Jorginho. It's about Ballon d'Or, the whole criteria, what it means and whatnot. We'll get into it. But before that, my boys, RJ, how you doing?
Oh, great to be back with the Down Under Football Crew and in the lovely Kat. Despite being a Liverpool fan, she does know her football stuff. So for those who don't know, Scott and I have had the privilege, along with Rob, on our show IFT podcast to have welcome Kat on. So it's great to link up yet again. For me personally, I'm just enjoying a day off now that it's Freedom Day, but more importantly, I've had a day off to rest my legs because I've been undertaking this fundraising walk that I've been doing and hit 55 Ks the other day wearing my 10 kilo vest. And just good to finally rest and recharge and talk a bit of football. So happy days.
Brilliant. You fit, man. Honestly, that's brilliant, man. I wish I could do that. I think I need to do that. Scott, my man, how you doing?
From one fit man to another.
Absolutely.
Doing well. You would think that I would be over the moon, considering that France and that's a national team that I'll support. Back won an excellent trophy. But you know what? I just hate international football. The weekend has been so dead. Like Twitter's been dead, Facebook's been dead, football talk's been quiet. I'm just looking forward to the Premier League coming back. But this should be a great topic tonight. And like Kat said, what better thing to do on a Monday night than talk some football?
100%, man. It is absolutely dead. You're right. This international break, every time it comes around, it's like everyone just goes on holiday, like annual leave. Content makers go away as well. Twitter is it's just rubbish talks.
It's so true, Miz. It's so true. Sometimes I go on my walk and every day, just quickly, I listen to so many podcasts and videos because I just like you, Kat. I just like to listen to other people and validate what I'm saying or get a different point of view. But during the international break, I'm just scrolling through things and I have to even listen to music and do other random stuff now. So it's just crazy.
Oh, no, not music, RJ, not music. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight into this. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. I want you guys to take full participation as to what we're talking about. Nearly 20 of you guys are live here. Smash the like button. Let's straight away get those likes to 20 so we can get this particular video to expose to more fans out there. Share it in all your social medias as well as much as you can. Check out the boys and their socials in the description. Help them out with their channel and Kat as well. Her socials are in the description. Go and follow her everywhere. Let's get the ball rocking, rolling. All right, we've missed playing the intro last week, so we thought there's no way we're going to miss out doing that. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've definitely missed that intro. I've definitely enjoyed it again. Boys and girls, I got to get used to it. There's a girl here today, so we can't just say boys. Maybe I'll just go with guys. Actually, I can't even say guys. Maybe I'll just say
maybe crew.
Yeah, crew. Yes, crew. This is the list for the Ballon d'Or nominations for 2021. There's some stellar names here: Azpilicueta, Barella, Benzema, Bonucci, De Bruyne, Chiellini. I mean, the list is insane. Ronaldo, Haaland, Lewandowski, Mahrez, Mbappe, Salah, Suarez, just incredible. Mount. I want to start the conversation from what is the criteria? And this is what I want you guys to think about, live chat. I want you guys to think about what does Ballon d'Or mean to you? You know, what is the criteria? What sort of player needs to win that? I'll start with Kat. Kat, when you think about the word Ballon d'Or, I mean, what pops in your mind? Is it just someone who bangs in the goals and assists? That's it, stats guy? Or you think about team achievements? Or you think about defensive stats? I mean, what's your initial thoughts on Ballon d'Or and its criteria?
So, I mean, first thoughts is always goal scoring, right? Because time and time again, you know, those are the guys you see on the list. And I see comments about it too, you know, the fact that every year it's about those attacking stats. It's the likes of Messi and Sterling and Salah that you always see there, right, because of their goals. But I do think there are other things to consider. When you look at a player like Virgil van Dijk, he had an unbelievable defensive season, right? He's a defender, and he had a standout season. He was easily one of the best players 2 years ago. I mean, you could still argue that he is, as he's come out of his injury. But I think it is a lot harder for a defender to stand out. So I think to see a defender as a Ballon d'Or contender it says a lot about their defensive stats, and they clearly have a very influential impact on the game. Whereas I think it's a lot easier to assess the influence of an attacker, right? Because it's right there. They either score goals or they don't. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to make a call and say that Lewandowski, for example, is a contender for this year because you look at his goal scoring.
Yeah, it's insane.
He's literally taken over, you know, the Bundesliga record for goal scoring. So that alone is a great reason for him to progress to that level of, I suppose, title, right? But that's kind of where my head's at. I'm like, if it's not an attacking player, then they've got to have a standout season. And it's a lot harder for people to rationalize or at least justify it. But yeah, I see comments too. VVD, he was definitely better than Messi that year that he won. There's no doubt about it.
See, that's the thing though, Kat. Like, what you're saying is I feel like it's a product of something that's been set in our head that it's got to be an attacker. It's got to be goals and assists. It's someone that, you know, showcases that attributes. But when I sit down and really deep it, I want to now ask Scott about this. Why is it that difficult for, say, for example, someone like Virgil van Dijk? Because I remember that particular season that Kat's talking about. Do you know what I mean? Van Dijk was phenomenal for Liverpool during that season. This is the season you're talking about, Kat, where you guys won the Champions League, right? Or the one that you won the Premier League?
Yeah, it was that year.
Yeah, it was that particularly. I mean, Scott, why isn't defensive stats, and this is a conversation where Jorginho comes in. I'm sure RJ will share a lot more because he follows the Italian man a lot. Interception stats, you know, key passes and whatnot, recoveries. Scott, I want to ask you, why is it difficult for a defender? Because I feel like then don't even have the defenders. Just have your attackers and that's it. Call it something else.
Yeah. Look, my first kind of problem with it is the size of the list. Now, with all due respect to guys like Mason Mount, Azpilicueta, Sterling, Should they be shortlisted for a Ballon d'Or? Probably not. Like Phil Foden.
I mean, Gerard Moreno from Villarreal.
There's a lot of players. I think that list itself, the first issue for me is the size. I almost feel that they need to split the Ballon d'Or into almost 4
categories, Jorgi?
Yeah, like the Ballon d'Or keeper, the Ballon d'Or defender, the Ballon d'Or midfielder, the Ballon d'Or attacking forward player. Because, quite frankly, if you score a goal, and this is the way football is, everyone loves a goal. If you score a goal, you're lumped with the credit. You're the hero. It's not about the assist. It's not about the pass before the assist. It's not about the counter-attack starting from the back.
It's not about the block that someone might have had leading up to a goal.
Whereas, and it's a little bit the opposite for defenders. Like at the end of the game, if you keep a clean sheet, like Arsenal have, for example, in their last 4 matches, no one turns around and says, wow, Gabriel, 4 clean sheets. Like he's had 4 clean sheets in a row. Whereas if you score him 4 games in a row, it's huge news. So I do think, I absolutely agree with this comment. But I just think there's a little bit of disrespect in the modern game for defensive players.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I mean, RJ, let's take this now to the next level. Obviously, Kat's had her say, which is pretty much how we all think about this whole situation. But I want us to change that mindset, because I've seen so much talk in social media, especially in football Twitter, RJ, about our man, and I know your man, Jorginho. There's literally so many people, even Chelsea fans, RJ. Some Chelsea fans are saying there's no way Jorginho should win this. No way. He does nothing for us. What does Jorginho do? And I feel like saying, RJ, surely, I remember there were some stats last season for his Champions League. He was like topping a lot of things, interceptions, recoveries, and whatnot. One of the influential players for Italy to win the Euros. You know it because you've watched them.
Yeah.
One of the key players for us in the Champions League run last season, along with other players as well. I'm not saying he was the only player. Won the Super Cup. I mean, RJ, why is it so unrealistic to think that Jorginho could win this?
It's definitely not unrealistic, but, with our fan base, I almost kind of wish that none of our guys won it, just so we can't divide ourselves into total delirium. But the problem is the award itself. 2 reasons. Firstly, it's giving emphasis on an individual award, which is celebrating a team sport. Problem number 1 for me, because you win or lose as a team. Yes, certain players have a bigger influence than others, but even Messi, who obviously I'm a massive fan on, Ronaldo, another superstar, they've reached some phenomenal and dizzying heights. But the brutal reality is they wouldn't have reached those heights without the other teammates around them. But we're only going to celebrate their achievements. So problem number 1 is the award itself, but it's nice to have a debate. Secondly, the criteria and the vagueness behind it opens so much subjectivity and debate from the experts that are picking this list. And unfortunately, we're in an age where, like Scott and Kat both highlighted, people remember the headline moment. They don't remember the Kurt Zuma slide tackle on Benteke, for example, or you know what I mean? It's just those things there aren't as popular or glamorous as the Kai Havertz rounding Edison to score the goal for the Champions League final. It's just the way the human mind functions to remember those heralded moments. But for me, I actually don't think it's unrealistic at all for Jorginho, because the criteria clearly says it's individual and collective efforts, which statistically speaking, he's won every trophy this season or thereabouts, and the amount of minutes he's played and the individual metrics and stats he's racked up, it's not out of this world. But equally, there's also a case as to why there are other equally great players on that list. The difficult part, and I'll leave it with this, is I like Scott's suggestion. It's a very difficult one for me to place a weighting on which position is valued more than others. Because each, like the UEFA Team of the Year, the best goalkeeper, the best defender. So perhaps the most fair way of doing it is to have the winner in each category, and then from that list, a more narrow list, you can then have a discussion as to who's the best from the best. So it's an imperfect science, and that's why you're going to have this perennial debate. That's
No,
all.
100%. Kat, I wanna bring up this particular list and a particular player, Karim Benzema. He's been the talk of the town at the moment. Obviously, he's in this list, third over there. But I also want to bring out a particular tweet. Let me see if I can find this for you. And then I want to get your thoughts on this and the lads as well, what they have to say about it. Leas is someone I love. He's been part of this channel quite a few times. It's been a while since I've spoken to him, but Leas has been quite ruthless with Jorginho, and he's really driving the Karim Benzema bandwagon at the moment. But I can't say he's wrong. I'm just saying that I feel he hasn't really contemplated every angle. But let me see if I can bring out this. Here we go. So, Kat, his tweet was Karim Benzema 2021. 48 goals and assists in 48 games, responsible for 73% of Real Madrid's league goals this season, on a run of 20 goal contribution in 15 games, doing it in the biggest games consistently, and now has a trophy to boast. Obviously, he's got that trophy now with France just recently. But, I mean, Kat, is it just purely because of his 73% Real Madrid goals? I mean, what has Real Madrid done in the last 12 months? They got beat by us. They literally got hammered by us.
Yeah.
They didn't do much in the La Liga either. I mean, you follow La Liga as well. I've seen you in previous conversation with the boys. You've said that you've lived in Spain as well. I mean, this particular team has done nothing. I know individually he's done something. I mean, he's done more than something. But I just feel like, as RJ said, it's individual plus collective.
Yeah.
Surely he shouldn't be a winner from my perspective. What's your thoughts on this particular tweet?
Look, I mean, his goal in that game that I just watched with France was unbelievable. This is where one of those elements of the reality of this award, it's that star factor. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day. Look, teams go up and down. That's the nature of the sport. And La Liga is a perfect example of a league in which the top half of the table changes every year. And I feel like you're seeing that more now than ever before. And I don't think that should discredit the achievements of players. I think when you look at the consistency of a guy like Karim Benzema across his international appearances, across all of the different kind of titles that Real Madrid play for, regardless of their results individually, I think that they should still be considered for their achievements. Like 48 goals and assists in 48 games. I mean, I can't say I've got stats like that. But I also just think it is one of those things, and I read comments about it. It is a popularity contest, and you know, Messi, for example, is always going to look better. But I don't think you should discredit the achievements of a player like Benzema. Do I think that he's going to win Ballon d'Or? No, I don't. Do I think Jorginho is more likely to win it because of what he's done with Chelsea and because of what he's done with Italy? Absolutely, I do. But I also don't think a player should be discredited for what people deem as a bad stat. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, 100% understand. I mean, I get your point. What you're trying to say is that that's still incredible what Benzema has done individually. Might not have had the collective sort of accolades to go with it, but individually that shouldn't be disregarded. I completely understand. I mean, Scott, I'll go to you now. I mean, he's in the list, Benzema. He's got the trophy now. A lot of people get really upset when they hear the name Jorginho ahead of Lewandowski, Benzema, Liverpool fans, Mo Salah. Do you know what I mean? Like, they would want Mo Salah ahead of Jorginho. Obviously, Messi has finally won that international trophy with Argentina. But I feel like Jorginho, a lot of his stats are getting just, people don't want to hear about it. You know, they don't want, like, and we'll go to RJ to talk about this down the track, but you know very well, Scott, without Jorginho, Italy doesn't look same, and without Jorginho, Chelsea at times don't look same. So what do you have to say about these different players, sort of with their individual stats and their, you know, lack of collective?
It honestly, Miz, it comes down to what's the intention of the people giving the award? I do honestly feel it's a popularity contest. I do feel there are agendas. I'll never forget the year when Pavel Nedved got the Ballon d'Or over Thierry Henry, who had smashed like every statistical record that season. Unbelievable. But you look at some of the front runners, I think Jorginho for me would be a very deserving winner. Do I think he will win it? No, because I don't think he matches. And that's not. I've been getting.
He doesn't get that popularity sort of vibe, does he?
I don't think he's got that popularity, that profile that someone like Messi does. Now, if I had to say Messi or Jorginho, I would give it to Jorginho because Messi won the Copa America with Argentina on the back of very strong performances by Emi Martinez, who I think was Argentina's best player in the tournament.
Yeah.
But I mean, the standard of the Copa America and the standard of the Euros, they're very different tournaments. To me, Jorginho's achievements in terms of a Champions League, being an integral part of Italy's win, I think he ticks the boxes for team performances.
Super Cup as well, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, he ticks a lot of the boxes. He's just not the popular figure. And I guess what some people would probably ask you is, say Jorginho didn't play, would Chelsea or Italy have still had a solid chance at winning those trophies? Now, I can't answer that. I don't watch as much Chelsea as you guys, but do you think Italy, RJ, you're probably the person to come to.
Yeah, I was
could say, Italy or Chelsea have had still a very strong shot at those cups without Jorginho? Because he did seem to wane off a little bit in the Euros. He started like a house on fire. He did get a little bit quieter towards the end, in my opinion.
That's good points you made. And, you know, me, obviously, going to back my Italian blue here and now. And I back any sort of Chelsea player really just because of club loyalty. But the Messi one's interesting as well. I read it in an article earlier because people talk about, yes, he broke the Argentina drought. And I actually thought his contribution was very strong up until the actual final. Ironically, it's where he basically was carrying them. I know Emi Martinez as well at the back, but equally Messi had a very strong international campaign bar the final. And this is quite ironic because normally he's the one that plays well up until the final, and the story is that it's nice to see somebody else doing him a favour rather than him having to carry the team as usual. But in terms of Jorginho, for me, I felt he is such a fulcrum to both Italy and to Chelsea, particularly in those cup competitions, which I suppose if you're looking at Ballon d'Or seems to be quite a heavily favourable advantage if you were to go on and win the actual prize itself, because it's the headline act, again, following that popularity theme. Because he's such a polarising player, I think it's not even the fact he's a polarising player. I just think it's because the position itself is not as attractive. Again, it's the engine room of the team. Nobody, you brought up Miz, nobody cares about the number of interceptions you made. It's Messi got 37 goals and 14 assists, and Barcelona frankly collapsed without him, and people will be bringing up that undoubtedly, and rightfully so in my opinion. But I think as someone, the positions that are more industrious, that do the dirty work, are the ones that get less celebrated. And that's just a personal opinion I have, and that's why people talk about Lewandowski was a shoo-in last season had they gone on without it. And I love Lewandowski. I think he's an absolute freak of nature, but it's probably a little bit disrespectful to some of the other players in some of the other positions who were in equally hot form at the time, like the Kevin De Bruyne. So I don't know. Again, what's the agenda here? Is the agenda to celebrate and promote ticket sales and increase sponsorship because people are going to remember that nice Benzema goal in the UEFA Nation League final, not the interception on the halfway line. So it's that kind of mentality. It is hard. And
you know what, RJ? My gut feeling is that this goes to Messi. It just, for me, seems
I feel it's going to go to Messi as well.
It just seems to match the fairy tale. Now, to me, And I said this when Messi made the move to PSG. It's a weak move. It was a weak move to go into the most stacked team in a league where they're heavy favourites, even though they underperformed under Poch. I think that move to me hurts him. If I had to say who I would give that award to, it would be Lewandowski, because to me he ticks the stats goal, he ticks the trophies goal. Okay, he didn't quite achieve with Poland, but you know what? If Podolski was Italian or French or Spanish, we could be. If Lewandowski was, from one of those nations. Yeah, I'm going way back.
You're too busy thinking about how Messi is not good enough, despite Barcelona collapsing without him.
Yeah, if he's Spanish or French or Italian, then those teams, who's to say they're not our Euros winners? He is playing in Poland, which I think hurts him because the team's not as competitive as, say, an Italy or a France or an Argentina. But I think Lewandowski, they tend to lean more towards goals. So I would probably give it to him. He missed out last year. He's got the stats. He's got the cups. I think it's him. But I would.
Although you had Modric, Modric is the outlier here. Modric gives me hope that there is an opportunity to break the wheel. So I don't know.
Well, Jorginho, I would not lose a wink of sleep over Jorginho getting it because I respect that industrious side of the game. I don't know. Do you think Lewandowski, is he your shout?
Absolutely. And I think he would have won it last year had it not been postponed or cancelled or whatever that was.
Because Bayern won the Champions League as well, yeah.
Yeah, it was his year. I feel like it was one of those years where he was just the name everyone was talking about, and deservedly so. He has the accolades for that, and I think he deserved that. And it's also, let's be realistic, it's very hard to stand out in football. There are so many amazing players who just take the stage every year. To be able to come through and actually have, that kind of influence is amazing. And he's totally done that. But I thought the point about kind of the value of position is really important. And it's really interesting too, because a standout performer for me, especially since the Euros, because it made me so much more aware of the Italian team, is Donnarumma. Like, what a goalie! Like, unbelievable performance. Once again, in the most recent games that I've watched him play, some of the best saves I feel like I've ever seen. And how can we can't discredit the value of saving a goal as much as scoring one, right? Because they influence the game as much as anyone else does, and easily some of the most beautiful saves I've ever seen. But that can be said for so many of these goalies that play at that international level. But look, definitely Lewandowski, like, no question. For me, he deserves that Ballon d'Or, especially because I feel like he was somewhat robbed of it last year. But I think if we are going to talk value of players, I would love to see goalkeepers get more credit in this arena, especially when they do what the likes of Donnarumma has done. But yeah, I think we need a bit of a Dally M situation here. We need to be acknowledging every player at every, in every major position. And then we need to be building what is, that ideal team. And, this is, at the end of the day, I'm an attacking player. So obviously I notice the achievements of attacking players, but I've got friends who are defenders and that's what they're looking at. Friends who are goalkeepers, that's what they're looking at. So I think it is so subjective. We need to be kind of creating a forum where we appreciate all of the skills that are required to make a good team.
It's so well said, Kat. The whole shout about Donnarumma. I still remember in Euros, and RJ and Scott will probably say the same thing. He made some incredible saves, semi-finals, finals. I mean, he was just unbelievable. There's a reason why he ended up being the player of the tournament, right, Donnarumma, for Euros?
Yes, for us.
Yeah,
yep.
He was the player of the tournament. I mean, yeah, you're right. There should be a forum where there is an understanding of the set rules as to what is the Ballon d'Or winner should have, whether it's not just personal statistics, achievements with the team, there was also shouts about on-field, off-field sort of behavior. You can't be one of those arrogant people who's been linked with a lot of controversies throughout the season, and you still got a lot of stats. But hey, how can we promote that? Like, is that a role model? Do you know what I mean? But now what I want to ask you guys is, I want you guys to give me your top 3 from this list and how you would break that down. And I think that's going to create a lot of good conversation as to what your mentality is. And I don't want you guys to think about from a perspective as to how, you know, it would be selected as a popularity contest. I want you to think from your perspective. Forget about that it's a popularity. I want you to think from your perspective. I'll start with you, RJ, and then we'll go down the track to Kat and Scott. RJ, who's your top 3 from this list?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would definitely put both Jorginho and perhaps controversially, and you know, bias not aside, I'm a passionate fan and I'm sticking with my heart. N'Golo Kante, and hear me out, another industrious player, man of the match in both Champions League semi-finals and the final. At the highest arena, was the best voted player. So, look, on his day, I think it's time to start celebrating the engine.
But what
room
did he
a
do
little
for
bit
France,
more.
RJ?
That's the problem,
Not
isn't
much.
it? But well, maybe his buddy Paul Pogba didn't help him out as much. But that's again another team sport, and this is the problem of the debate. So, and the same with Ronaldo, you could argue. But look, for me, them two, I'd lock them in a head-to-head battle, and I'd throw into the mix. I'd have to say, Lewandowski. I'd have to say, look, I'd love to say Messi, but I'd love to say Messi because I know what he's done and continues to do, and it's beyond the 37 goals, 14 assists.
Suarez?
For me,
RJ?
it's
Suarez
the
with the La
influence.
Liga?
No, not enough for me. Haaland again, a phenomenal statistical season. Donnarumma again, strong, but again, who do you place from a priority point of view? Mason Mount was nice that he got on the list, but not enough for me. The same with Bonucci. There's too many good. Mo Salah, he's coming great guns now, but not the whole season. Yeah, look, I'm comfortable with those decisions. I'd lock in those
Who
three.
wins it though? You didn't get off the fence, mate. Who wins the Ballon d'Or if you're picking it?
So your
Arsenal
top 3
players.
is Jorginho, Kante, and Lewandowski. So now the question, as Scott said, who wins it?
Yeah, I would give it to Jorginho collectively and just his individual. I would go him in the end. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear out Kat's top 3,
Okay.
and let's try and understand how she got there as well.
Okay, I think it's hard not to fall for the star factor component, right? This is it's everybody's talking about him. They're everywhere. It's like everyone knows that they've had a good season. For me, you know, that's Messi. That's I feel like it would almost be unfair. It's probably controversial if Messi won. I don't want to see that happen. I feel like we all know how great he is. His stats are incredible. Like his lifelong stats are incredible. But has he been the most important player across any of these comps this year? No.
By the way, Kat, just quickly, I rate this comment highly. Still don't know how.
I agree with that as well.
I can't believe he's not in the list.
I love Rudiger. I think he is one of the most influential and consistent defenders, especially in the Premier League. I love him on my fantasy team. And I agree with that. I think he's had an incredible season. I think he should be there as well. I'm also surprised by Mount as well. There was a comment about that. I think he's good, but obviously England has had a great couple
Euros,
of Euros and whatnot.
And player of the season as well for the club.
For Chelsea player of the season,
which is deserved, but I don't know if that's a Ballon d'Or contender for me. Anyway, I'm trailing off. I would put Lewandowski as the winner. I said it before. I just think putting the Poland display aside, I think at the end of the day, these guys can't control what country they come from. And the reality is some players are just kind of lucky that they fall into these national teams that just do better year on year. And And I don't think that should that shouldn't discredit the achievements of them on a club level. My second would probably be Jorginho for a similar reason. I just think, once again, like that consistency across all the different games that he's played, it's very hard to do that, and he's done it. And I don't think you can question his influence in all of those games. And then Ruben Dias as well. I think we're not talking enough about how great of a defender he is too. In my opinion, one of the best in the world, if not. He's up there with Virgil van Dijk for me. And I feel like no one talks about him enough.
How do you think he went for Portugal, though? I feel like Ruben Dias for Portugal kind of got put into place in Euros.
I think Portugal just got put into place in the Euros, which is tough. But yeah, look, I think this is just another case of it being incredibly subjective, and the performances that I see, I can say to you, oh, Diaz is, the best defender in my opinion. But you know what? Someone else will watch it and go, I've seen way better. So I think it is a case of understanding what the motive is behind the awards and all of that. But look, for me, Lewandowski is a standout. And if I could give it to Donnarumma, I would, but I just don't think that a keeper's going to get it. So Lewandowski is for me.
Kat, I just got to say, I just got to have something, because the point made a lot of sense. But I have to say as well, from the other side of the coin, who is the host of that show, the point that I thought was interesting was Lewandowski, that whole point of players can't pick from where they come from. You're born into that. That's your nationality, yes. And therefore that destiny is hard to control. But equally, if you are born into a country that's blessed with supreme talent, to be the standout in that team is also a credential that is hard to muster. And it's just, it's the same sort of argument you have with the whole Messi Ronaldo thing, because Ronaldo's gone and won it everywhere. And then you've got people like Messi, who stayed put at Barcelona for so long, but was the best of an already incredible bunch. So I just thought it was a very interesting point you made, but also shedding light for someone like Jorginho too.
No, I think you've actually just made me realize that it's almost a redundant. I'm not trying to discredit my own opinion, but I think
it's okay.
You've highlighted potentially how good Jorginho is to stand out amongst those Italians. How good Chiesa, Chiellini, these guys.
Barella,
for us to
Verratti.
even know your name when you grow up playing in Italy says how good you are, because of the quality of talent that comes out of that country. Same goes with Spanish. And it's also, once again, not to then discredit Harry Kewell and Tim Cahill for standing out in Australia, because typically we're not really known for our footballers. It's not to say that they're not great players too, but I think that's a really good point, RJ, that good
one, Kat. I can see his head growing from here.
I'm sorry.
Brilliant.
You've made a really good point, and I think I've changed my mind.
Excellent. Locked in.
Scott, before I get your three players, we previously saw that tweet from Leas about Benzema. And I just want to throw this name out there. There's a name here who's not really performing well this season, but Harry Kane.
No.
Most goals, most assists last season for Spurs. I'm sure his goal contributions would have been off the charts for Spurs. Similarly, as you can say, for Euros, he came alive in the latter parts for England. But if Benzema can be put out there, and Benzema only won the trophy just yesterday, or earlier today, I believe. Yeah, it was earlier today. In the morning, Australian time, by the way, yesterday for UK time. But Scott, if Benzema is getting talked about so highly, why isn't Kane at all even in the mix?
I'm the wrong person to come to for this question. Seriously.
Proud Spurs fan.
Yeah, I'm the worst person to come to. We've spent the last, half an hour talking about the fact that trophies are also important, and those kind of and unfortunately for Harry Kane, Spurs haven't won any trophies, and England didn't win the trophy in their home stadium with the majority of their home fans. They didn't win the trophy. So I don't see Harry Kane. And you look at his start to this season; it's been abysmal. It's been shocking this season, and the award does carry over, doesn't it?
I think it does. It does.
That's a good point, Scott. That's the problem with this whole November 29 stuff is even though it's a season to season, all the trophies you collect, if you have a sudden downward spiral, that can really work against you, which is unfortunate.
And the whole drama of he didn't rock up to training for Spurs. Spurs fans absolutely hate him at the moment. And that's why I was talking about on-field dramas as well. Like, does that come into play? Can we give the Ballon d'Or to a particular player that does not rock up at training?
Yeah, to me, look, I don't buy into the behaviour. I mean, they're not little kids in school. This is not an award that's there for your behaviour and for being, the top bloke in your team, because there's plenty of players who do plenty of good things and they behave really immaculately and set a great example. But I don't think it comes into this award for me. This, to me, the Ballon d'Or is
the be-all or end-all, Scott, but should there be any weighting on it, though? Maybe a 10% weighting out of 100%?
Not for me. I think you need to separate the playing ability and what may happen off the field. Of course, if it's something humongous like they're involved in criminal activity or anything like that, different story. But
by the way, some
not
players
rocking
are
up to
actually
training.
involved in criminal activity in recent times.
That's why he's not in my top three, Miss. But not rocking up to Spurs training, to me, shouldn't factor in.
Who's your top three, by the way?
Lewandowski to take it. I think he ticks all the boxes. He's got the stats, he's got the cups, and I think internationally, like I said, had he been, French or Spanish, I think that they're winning something or getting a lot further. I like Jorginho, but I also think one of the things that hurts his claim, and I'll probably cop stick in the live chat for this, that's okay. This is Chelsea territory. I think one of the things...
You may not. Some of our fans don't rate Jorginho.
I think what will hurt his claim potentially is the performances of Kante in your Champions League semis and the final, where Kante in that midfield, to me, and this is just personal opinion,
was unbelievable.
Kante was the most important midfielder in those games. So I think he took a little bit of the attention from Jorginho in those three huge matches. I also think, how can... He wasn't even Chelsea's player of the season. Mason, I think those kind of things may hurt him. So that's why I've put him in second place. I would go Lewandowski first, Jorginho.
You know what, Scott? I think Kante ended up winning UEFA midfielder of the season.
Yeah, there you go. Look, and Kante third. And I think Kante his fitness has been letting him down a little bit. Najee knows I've got massive props on Kante, Mason Mount. I know there's been a few comments in the live chat saying I'm dissing Mount. There's no dislove for Mount here. I think he's a brilliant player, but I just think Kante and Jorginho being in the same team, they kind of took a little bit of limelight off each other, whereas Lewandowski was that main man. So,
but do you think that, Scott, though, doesn't that argument equally get flipped on its head with Lewandowski, though only, domestically speaking, all of his achievements were restricted to Germany that season. Didn't win Champions League.
Yeah, but RJ,
and didn't do anything for Poland. But that you can't guarantee. But you can't guarantee Jorginho did that. He was influential for Italy's title.
Yeah.
He was influential for the Champions League win. Lewandowski, all of his achievements were Germany.
So to me, if Jorginho was Polish, Poland still get knocked out at exactly the same pace.
He wins all the trophies. He's too good.
I know
what you mean.
I'm not discrediting either of those players. I'm actually praising Kante and Jorginho by saying they probably got in each other's way because they're both that good at what they do. And to see some of your fan base slander Jorginho is ridiculous because he helps make Chelsea tick.
Scott, honestly,
I was just going to ask a very quick question. This was more of a question, not a do you think it'll work against him. because the award recognises both collective and individual achievements, is the fact that Lewandowski's achievements were only restricted to Germany something that could work against him? That was what I was coming from.
Potentially, but I still think he's done enough to take it. I still think he's done enough.
You know what the crazy thing is? I just want to quickly circle back on this before I give my 3 players. Scott, it's crazy how some of the Chelsea fans, between Kante, Mount, and Jorginho, in my perspective, Jorginho probably has the highest shot because he's won it with international and he's won with the club. Whereas the other 2, they didn't win international. I think that's the edge. Now, I don't know what the criteria is. In my head, that's the way I look at it is not just your personal stats, not just your league ones, your international ones, the lot, right? That's how I look at it. Now, some people might not look at it that way, and that's each to their own. But honestly, Scott, there are so many Chelsea fans that would rather not see Jorginho win it. If it's not Mount or Kante, they don't want Jorginho to get it.
It's stupidity. Why wouldn't you want your player to win these awards?
I get bemused and baffled by this. I'm like, how could it's a Chelsea player, man? Like, why do you dislike this player so much? And that's where the whole situation comes into the play. That he's one of those players where you don't, as Ajay, as Sari said not that long ago, he's a refined player. You're not going to see the things that are spectacular in your eyes, but he's so important for the team. That's the
well, you don't see a heartbeat in a body, do you? But it's quite vital to get the organs moving. That's what he is. He's a metronome.
I philosophical
Great analogy, that.
I love that. I think we need to clip that. RJ's on fire today. My top 3, ladies and gentlemen, and I honestly could not care less if you absolutely scorch me on this. For me, the more I think about it, the more it has to be Jorginho. And that's not because I'm a Chelsea fan. No, I'm honestly saying because, yes, Kante was pivotal for us in the Champions League, probably more so than Jorginho, but Jorginho was still very, very vital for that run in the Champions League. That match against Porto, I still remember how epic Jorginho was in the middle alongside with Kante. And throughout that whole process, he was brilliant. The whole comeback as well. This is a player that was getting nothing under Frank Lampard. And then as soon as Thomas Tuchel comes in, our whole structure, tempo, the organization comes back into play. Yes, he had some errors leading up to the end of the season. That's fine. Everyone has that. But he was still instrumental in the Premier League as well to our drive to get into top 4. Champions League, Euros for Italy. I watched quite a lot of Italy matches. Yeah, there might have been some games where he wasn't that great against Spain in the semi-finals. I remember Spain pressed the living daylights out of Italy. But even that, in the second half, I feel Jorginho was very strong. Against England in the final, Jorginho was definitely strong in the second half for that equalizer, for Italy.
And when he wasn't on the pitch, Miz, too, the game before Spain there, actually, I think it was before that. When he's off the field, it's a different type of presence. It's one of those things where he's physically inferior to a lot of his opponents. He's slower. He's not as strong. But because of his positional awareness, the way that he knows how to connect the dots, he's like another manager on the pitch. That's how he's been described. And I think that's why he's loved a lot, because he can communicate a lot of the messages rather than the manager having to yell at everybody.
Tactical messages as well, the tactical know-how, knowing exactly where the game is at and what needs to happen. So Chelsea, domestic Premier League, Champions League, for Italy, Euros, then he wins the Super Cup, then he also gets the award for the UEFA Player of the Year award. For me, he's undoubtedly set up for this particular Ballon d'Or. I just can't seem to go away from him. The second shout for me has to be Messi. I think him winning the Copa America. I watched quite a bit of Copa America. Yes, a lot of people may say Rodrigo de Paul was very influential as well. Martinez, as Scott, you said, was definitely very influential. Christian Romero was definitely very, very influential. But Messi, someone I think commented, most man of the matches, goals and whatnot, literally drove that team to victory. And he finally got that. Yes, domestically, there's not much to show there with Barcelona, but individual stats are incredible. Going to PSG is probably a bit of a negative, but I don't think that was his choice. He wanted to stay at Barcelona. And at the end of the day, he was kind of the money factor and whatnot just didn't work out. Could he have gone to Man City? I don't know. Whatever the case is, I'm not going to put him going to PSG as a crossmark. So I think for me, he's second. And then it's Lewandowski because of his achievements in Germany. But for me, the out-and-out standout is Jorginho. That's where it is. And I don't know why people tend to think any otherwise in social media, and they laugh about this whole situation. I mean, we're going to wrap things up very soon. Let's get some final thoughts. Go with you, Kat. Obviously, I've gone with Jorginho. RJ's gone with Jorginho. Scott, I think, has gone with Lewandowski as your first choice.
Yeah.
And Kat, you've gone with Lewandowski. So we split here. So we've got two Jorginhos, two Lewandowskis.
The non-Chelsea fans haven't gone Jorginho. The two Chelsea fans
funny
have.
That. Very funny.
Funny that how that worked out.
Thought I persuaded you, Kat.
You know what? There's no doubt in my mind that Jorginho is so influential on both club and international level. He's had an amazing year. 100% I'll put him up there, you know, as a contender. And if he wins it won't be a surprise. I think there's just a part of me that, you know, leans towards Lewandowski because I feel like it should have been his last year and he's still coming off the back of brilliant stats. And I know we say that, you know, Bundesliga is the farmers league and for some reason there's this understanding that the value of a goal in Bundesliga is not the same as the value of a goal in the Premier League or in La Liga, but I honestly don't agree with that.
Just on that, Kat, just quickly on that. I know Lewandowski would do unbelievable in the Premier League, but I have to say, some of these players from Bundesliga, there's question marks. They look very good there, but as soon as they come here,
do you have any in mind?
Quite a few,
Do you have any in mind, please?
I'm not gonna name names. I don't want to create a controversy. But Kat, I've seen quite a few Bundesliga matches, and the space that they have there, it's like a open room. It's unbelievable the amount of space. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, there are definitely going to be matches where anyone at Lewandowski's level is going to score a ton of goals. Mm-hmm. But look, the Ballon d'Or is not chosen based on hypothetical. What if he was playing in the Premier League and he could score heaps of goals playing for Man City? It doesn't work like that. So look, from a stats level, I'm going to say I think Lewandowski had a great season, but if Jorginho wins, it's not a surprise. Anyway, just one of those things. Who knows how they pick it? We'll just have to see what happens.
We all know Messi's going to win. Right? Whatever we've said.
I don't know how I feel about the Messi.
But you know why? I was looking it up again, and I was looking up at our good friends at Optus Sports, who I'm sure are following us here. But I was, you look at the numbers again, 37 goals, 14 assists, 2 trophies, but it's not even the trophies. He was also, I believe, the player of the tournament for Argentina in that. And he was the top. He had the top assists and top chances created. So there is some strong justification to give it to him because they couldn't be criticised as much, saying that he was just a passenger in either or. So look, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a nice swan song to say he's our perfect opportunity from a popularity point of view to give it to someone that's very well versed.
Where do you think Messi's going?
He might go to Newcastle. He's going to Newcastle.
Yeah,
Newcastle.
And you know what? If there's a Bundesliga tax, there needs to be a Copa America tax.
Yeah, I agree.
God, some of it was anti-football. You put that side by side with the Euros. It's
all the
Copa America UFC tournament.
UFC. That was not football at times.
I mean, Scott, we're on the same. Our brains are connecting because I completely agree with that. And I think if you're gonna have a go at Lewandowski's goals in Bundesliga, then do the same for Messi's in Copa America.
I'm just surprised he survived and made it out there alive, to be honest.
That's what he probably deserves a Ballon d'Or for, surviving that tournament. Because, mate, there were targets on him.
That final was unbelievable what Brazil was doing. Do you know what I mean? And not just Brazil, Argentina as well was equally dirty as. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. With 50 live right now. It's a very slow international break, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed having Kat and the boys here. It's been brilliant. Before we go, let's go to Kat first. Kat, any sort of content coming out during this time, or you're taking a break from it all, or what's going on?
Well, I've been having my version of an international break. Life's been a bit boring, but I'm actually starting a new podcast this week. So if you follow me on socials, you'll be able to find out a bit more information about that. It's a new project. It's not connected to Football Chat with me and Kat. It's a whole brand spanking new thing. So I'm really looking forward to it.
No exclusives?
Not yet, but if you stick to my Instagram, I'll be able to share more information. I'm only not doing it because I actually don't have anything to share just yet.
By the way, you're a star in Instagram. You got like nearly 3,000 followers there. I mean, I don't think total us three don't even have 3,000. I don't even think we have 1,000 followers.
In my defense, I don't know how to use Instagram. I'm too old. So, if it was FIFA,
I don't think I do.
I just write articles, Miz. You know that. I know how to Instagram.
Yeah, go on, Kat.
I'll help you guys with your socials as well. Don't worry. Maybe we can do another podcast and we just run through like social strategy or something.
I love it. Look at this. We got fans for Kat. Get Kat.
Oh, how nice.
There you go. I think we might have to. Liverpool are going to be. I've got a lot to talk about Liverpool. I don't want to start here. I've actually got a lot of things to say about Liverpool. I can't wait to have Kat back because I think it's going to be a bit of a argument because some of these Liverpool fans, Kat.
You're going to have a Chelsea-Liverpool head-to-head?
I think we need to. I mean, we give it to Scott.
Scott doesn't even rate Mo Salah. Tell us, Scott.
Best player in the world at the moment.
I mean, some of these Liverpool fans, honestly, they think Liverpool is like a godsend sort of club or something. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, we're not going to go there.
It is a beautiful club.
Boys, Scott and RJ, what do you guys got coming up soon?
You first, RJ.
Well, for me, I just got up really early this morning, had a 2-hour blockbuster with our good friend Patrick Larson, unpacking the month that was and the month that's coming up, Chelsea-wise, so that was good fun. For me, it's just continuing with Scott tomorrow night and Rob on our It's a Football Thing podcast, so go check it out. I'm sure you could find it in the description. Aside from that, get back on the Talk Chelsea and the Chelsea social article writing and, that old chestnut called life and everything else outside of football, keeping me nice and busy. So apart from that, just doing that and my fundraising stuff. So check it out if you get a chance on my Twitter.
Brilliant. Mo Salah and Hazard debate.
Sorry, man.
Just quickly, Scott. Mo Salah and Hazard debate? No, we're not doing that.
Do it.
We're not doing that.
What's the debate, though? What's the debate?
There is no debate.
Oh, are you trying to say, like, what's the debate as in Salah is... There is no debate?
Salah's a human and Hazard's a magician. Obviously, that's the debate. Settled.
No, we're definitely not doing that because
I think it's time to wrap up the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Scott, talk to me, man.
Look, not much going on. Like we're free in New South Wales. We can get out and about, obviously responsibly. So, going to enjoy a bit of that tomorrow night. On It's a Football Thing, where we're talking the Newcastle takeover, which is going to be really topical. What that means for clubs like Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. So we'll definitely be covering that. We'll probably do a little bit more Ballon d'Or talk as well. But Miz, mate, as you know, the main man on this channel, I've got a special request. You need to get the checkbook out, mate, and sign Kat up. She's put in a transfer request. Get the checkbook out, Miz.
I think
get
we
the
might
merchandise.
Have to. The live
I don't
chat
think we could
seems
afford her.
The live chat seems to enjoy it as well. Honestly, I love this. The female presence. It brings a different touch to the whole thing. So we'll talk to Kat behind the scenes. We see.
I'm her agent, by the way. You have to talk to
or
me.
maybe we'll talk to RJ, see if he can put in some good words for us. But I think it's good to have a Liverpool perspective as well, which is going to be quite interesting. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button, get those likes up to 50 if you can. That'd be a great achievement for this particular stream on our international break. We will be back next Monday where there's going to be a whole heap of Premier League conversations to happen. And just check out the boys and their socials in the description and Cats as well in the description. Please go out there and follow everyone. Until next time. See you.